Hey everybody, welcome to the channel Crapgamer Reviews, and I am Crapgamer with you as always. Thanks for checking out another video, I appreciate it. So anyway, you know, Microsoft is in the middle of these amazing rumors for purchases, buyouts, things like that. They are in fact buying up different companies for, you know, cloud computing and cloud gaming and things like that. So we know, because Phil Spencer has said that they're working on that, the idea of game streaming through the cloud, and that's something they'll do. But I don't think that really impacts you or me, anybody that watches my channel, and it's not like a clear indication of them getting rid of anything in particular, because they're still going to have that option for, you know, if they're touting all this backwards and forward compatibility, you can't just dump that for game streaming, because I don't think game streaming is ever going to be what a lot of these companies want it to be. Sure, they wish that it would be, because that eliminates a lot of the hassles that they have to go through, but at the same time, I don't think that that's where it's going to go because of the input lag. No matter what they do, there's going to be that input lag because you're just going through wires of internet, and that's just, of course, what's going to happen. And we as gamers are very unaccepting of input lag, which is why we always get monitors and TVs with the lowest amount of input lag. So with that being said, that they're probably going to offer some sort of game streaming. If it's going to be AAA, I don't know, but probably, you know, to the tablets and phones and maybe some smaller stuff. I don't see how game streaming would work real well in terms of tablets and stuff, because how would they translate with the controls and stuff? Like, to me, that would never make sense. So it only makes sense that certain games would be used for that. So that's my opinion on that. Also, there's this Game Pass thing, right? And so there's a couple different camps in this. Some people like the value, I can't deny the value to it myself, but what I also have to say is that, you know, some retailers have come out and a little bit against it or whatever, but this other retailer, and I will link this so you guys can check it out, he's not worried at all. He's a smaller retailer, and he works for this place, and he said, if Microsoft's games lineup were stronger, if someone big like Ubisoft started doing this, then yeah, that would be a cause for concern. So I'm not overly worried about it. It's just a trend. It's where things are going forward. And he has a real point there. For Xbox Game Pass to become worth it for every Xbox customer, they'll need to step up with the quality first-party content. He also said that eventually a shift is bound to happen, just like other industries such as music and film. He said, I think it's the way things are going. If you look at the trends of the last 5 or 10 years in music, film, and TV, we've seen Netflix, Apple Music, Spotify, and even things like EA Access. It's just going that way forward. He says Sea of Thieves is a good example. You only get to do the closed beta if you pre-ordered it digitally. So the beta doesn't account for indie sales. That's an example of how they're not shutting us out exactly, but they're not making life for us easy. Of course, it will have an impact on traditional retailers, but digital sales have been steadily eating into physical sales for a long time now. It's only a matter of time before the publishers turn the screws even tighter and monopolize the direct sales of games. As a retailer, we are always against anything that takes away business, but ultimately consumer buying habits will dictate its success or sale or failure, not retail. So basically what he's saying is he's not worried as a retailer about Xbox Game Pass, and he probably shouldn't be right now, because he does have a point that their first-party lineup is nowhere near strong enough to support it. If you look at Netflix, there's constantly a flow of originals coming into Netflix. Microsoft doesn't have that. They have some games coming out this year, but one of those games in particular, Crackdown 3, has been tainted for a long time. A lot of people look at that game as a train wreck because there's 3 different developers involved. Now one of the developers is owned by Epic Games. It's a game that's been in development hell for years and years and years. And what we saw as far as the single player didn't seem to impress a lot of people, and we haven't seen the multiplayer with the cloud destruction in years, so I can understand the hesitation. So, you know, Microsoft is probably hoping a lot of people will check out Game Pass to play this particular game. It's all about the future for Microsoft, and speaking of having content, that's where some of these rumors come in. Now, we don't know if these rumors are 100% true. If they're kind of true, who knows? To me, buying PUBG makes the most sense, because that's a game that's already shown results for your company. You're using Azure servers on PC and Xbox. You can probably eventually enable some PC and Xbox kind of crossplay or something like that for people that want it. But the main point is that makes a lot of sense, because that game is one of those games that's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. and that's what Microsoft wants. It's probably already at 4.5 million people on Xbox alone, and it just came out in December. So that's probably really up their alley. Now, the EA thing, that would be an expensive purchase. You have a couple different ways to look at this as well. If Microsoft were to buy EA, if they were to keep everything multi-platform, that could be a strong signal that they really are just really interested in doing like third-party content, because it's not really an issue right now. As much as even I complained about Game Pass, they can't do third-party or go third-party because they rely on third-party stuff on their platform. They don't have enough first-party content or even close, or the studios or the IP to do that, right? They just don't. So realistically, they would have to buy a company like EA. That way you would have enough third-party content mixed with your own, and you could have a constant flow into Game Pass. Imagine Madden, NBA Live, NHL, all these games in EA Access, FIFA, or not EA Access, but in Xbox Game Pass, day one, day and date, launching. That's going to give people a great incentive to use Game Pass. Also, the Valve thing with the Steam option, that makes sense in terms of fixing the Windows Store. People hate the Windows Store, and Valve, be honest with you, Steam is only valued at like $5-6 billion. Think about Minecraft costing roughly half that, and you have your idea that Microsoft could definitely buy it, and then next thing you know, you have the largest install base for gaming. You put all Xbox games on there as well, instead of the Windows Store, and then you have yourself a steady flow of income. And you could also do Game Pass on Steam as well, and that would be something that would probably sell pretty well. So I can imagine that what Microsoft is thinking. They see a lot of dollar signs going around right now, and rightly so, because this could be huge for them. Now, it looks like we might get some kind of confirmation regarding these EA rumors, because they do have a investors call today. So things are definitely getting interesting. Trust me, I learned a lot just like being around Xbox fans, and overall, I'm not sure exactly how people would feel either way, about them going possibly having more third-party games. Like, if they were to buy EA and they make them all multi-plat, I think that they would have way more games multi-plat under their banner than exclusives, and that could be a little bit of a problem for some people. I also think that it makes sense to keep the sports games multi-plat, but if I were Microsoft and were buying EA, I would definitely make Titanfall an exclusive to Xbox again. I would make Anthem an exclusive to Xbox. I would make Mass Effect exclusive to Xbox. Kind of take them back to the glory days there, because Mass Effect was an exclusive. Titanfall was an exclusive. You had these games and you let them go. It makes a lot of sense to solve your exclusive problem. Now, the rumor is that the reason they would buy EA is to help solve the exclusive problem, but I don't have any allusions to them keeping Madden and FIFA off of PlayStation consoles. It just honestly wouldn't make sense, and you would never make your money back off of the purchase of EA by not selling those games on PlayStation. Another thing to kind of keep in mind, and I remember D saying this on BGST, was if Microsoft owns these games, they could really force Sony's hand into crossplay, right? Oh, we'll put Madden on your console if you allow crossplay with PC and Xbox. And they could also put Madden on PC, which it's never been. We'll allow FIFA on PS4 if you guys allow crossplay. I could see that being a thing. Yeah, we'll put Battlefield on your console if you allow crossplay. That really kind of holds, Sony kind of by the balls, because they could do the same thing anytime they wanted with Minecraft. Like, PS4 is already not getting the updated version of Minecraft because they won't allow that. The future is constantly in motion, and Microsoft is always trying to be one step ahead. I don't think Game Pass is something that Sony or Nintendo will do, because they rely heavily on single-player games, and it would be highly taken advantage of if they started doing something like that. I can tell you that right now. It makes the most sense for Microsoft, because they like games as a service, loot crates, microtransactions, pay for live, pay for Game Pass, all these services. They love services, and so that's kind of where the future lies. I'm not saying that they won't always have a dedicated box or something along those lines, but it's clear that they're not really all that concerned about losing to Sony or having as many boxes out in the wild as Sony. Of course, they want to sell them, but I still think that they have this idea to have their hands in the pot of every single, stew brewing, so that no matter what game you buy, no matter what console you buy, you're going to have a piece of the pie. And I think that's Microsoft's overall plan. It's a smart plan. Will it pay off? Will Xbox fans be that accepting of possibly, Microsoft owning all these IP and then keeping none of them exclusive? Like, I think the whole idea to buying some of these companies would be to get some exclusive games, some exclusive content for your, for the people that are heavily invested into your brand. And I think that's what Microsoft needs to do. They need a good mix of exclusives that constantly roll in. I think that they need at least 7 to 8 AAA type exclusives per year for Game Pass to be worth it. And that's not including the smaller stuff like Cuphead and Ori 2 and Ashen and these smaller exclusives that are going to have to be sprinkled into Game Pass as well. You need a constant flow, and you need some of the third-party stuff. So then buying EA would fix that as well. Madden, NHL, NBA Live, FIFA, all there day and date. So if you can't get third parties on board, you buy third parties and force them on board. And that's very smart thinking. Now, we don't know if this is going to happen, but just imagine the industry, how with those moves completely switches from everything we knew. And Microsoft is the only company that could pull this off. And you also, before you go, oh, this is crazy crap, they would never do that, you have to keep in mind that Microsoft possibly sees Google or Apple trying to buy EA. There's rumors that EA was possibly being looked at by an anonymous source to buy out. So you really kind of accomplished multiple things. So I love the fact that Microsoft could be very proactive with this, but it also leaves a lot of questions to be answered. This could change the future of gaming forever, but it's very curious to hear how you Xbox fans, that's who I'm mostly talking to, how do you guys feel about this? If they were to get these exclusives or these IP and own them and didn't keep them exclusive, what would you feel? How does that make you feel? Are you okay with Microsoft doing third-party stuff? It opens so many questions, and I would love to interact with you guys and find out the answers. Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.